The fourth secret is responding. Recognizing what a powerful gift we have to give each other through our sexual relationship is a vital part of a marriage. In a survey, 1,000 married couples were asked questions about sexual responsiveness within their marriage. And the survey found that 75% of the husbands interviewed and 25% of the wives wanted more and better sex, by which they meant wanting their partner to be more responsive and to show their desire for them.
Many people don't realise that the way they respond sexually can have a huge emotional impact on their partner. One husband from that survey spoke for many men when he said, "When she says no, I feel that I'm rejected. No is not no to sex, as she might feel. It's no to me as I am. And I'm vulnerable as I ask or initiate."
And when we as wives understand this and show our desire for our husband, we're communicating our love for him in a very powerful way, not just on a physical level, but at a deep emotional level too. Being responsive may mean taking the initiative to make love as a deliberate choice, even though we may be tired or we're feeling stressed by work or the circumstances don't match up to our highest expectations. For most women, and for a significant number of men, sex starts as a decision and then arousal follows.
We lead very busy lives with so many competing things for our time that if we wait for sex to be spontaneous, if we wait for the house to be tidy, my emails to be done, the children to be in bed sleeping perfectly, to feel relaxed, to feel good about my body, if we wait for that to happen, that time will never happen, it will never come. So one of the things that can be most important and helpful for couples is to understand that men and women function very differently when it comes to sexual desire and sexual arousal, and an understanding of that can be really helpful. So the man has the spontaneous desire and then he gets aroused. The woman gets aroused and then the desire kicks in. So if we're intentional about having sex and we've talked to our partner about planning it in, then it can be something that is in our mind, that it isn't suddenly we find ourselves in a situation where we're expected to be responsive. Our responsiveness can start in our minds, and that can be really helpful in terms of recognising that there's an expectation in our partner that this is when we're going to be intimate, but possibly more importantly that we recognise that there's an expectation in ourselves that this is what we've committed to, and therefore we need to take ownership about what will help us to enjoy that experience. How are we going to be fully engaged? If I've committed to be intentional with my partner about having sexual intimacy at a given time, what do I need to do in the run-up to that to get myself in the right frame of mind? And if we're fully invested, we're much more likely to enjoy it because we will be connecting our head with our body, the arousal circuit will be connected, and then we're much more likely to enjoy what we're doing with our partner and what we're experiencing in our bodies.
Responding sexually can give our partner an amazing sense of confidence and well-being about life. However, responsiveness requires a climate of trust between us.
Trust is the foundation of a good sexual relationship, as sex requires the ability to feel free to give ourselves completely to our partner, to let go both physically and emotionally. This is challenging for many people and only happens where there is deep trust.
Any unresolved hurt between us will undermine trust and must be healed, not least for the sake of our sexual relationship. Michelle Viner Davis writes, "In my years as a marriage therapist, I can tell you with confidence that holding grudges is one of the most effective methods for killing desire that I've ever seen. Sometimes letting go of the past feels like an impossible feat, especially when the hurt is enormous.
But letting go of the past is possible through choosing to forgive. Cyril and I have seen couples do that again and again, even where there's been unfaithfulness or another major betrayal of trust.
Forgiveness is a vital factor in rebuilding trust, which then enables us to be sexually responsive to our partner again."
We want to go on to the fifth and final secret for keeping the spark alive: kindness. The first thing that we as men must learn about sex is that it's about giving. I heard a speaker called Tom Nelson say this: physically, many men can be ready anytime, any place. But a man cannot be a good lover unless he's helped with the washing up, filled the car up with fuel, taken out the rubbish and been sensitive towards his wife's needs. Kindness means not only showing support in practical ways, but also taking time to tune into our wife's emotional needs.
Psychologists consistently tell us that men and women are wired differently when it comes to sexual arousal. We found a diagram which illustrates something of these differences. The top half is the man, and you can see the on-off switch is very clear.
And the bottom half is the woman, where it's slightly more complicated. And as one man on the marriage course said to us, what's more, the wiring gets changed about every 2 weeks. In our culture today, sex has become very individualistic, very self-oriented, so that the questions most often asked are, how can I satisfy my desires? How can I obtain maximum pleasure? But good sex has to be other-oriented. And as men, we have to learn and relearn to give emotionally first. And that takes time.
For a woman to give herself, she must feel safe, loved, and special. When kindness is lacking, it can lead people to using the other person for their own selfish ends, to cruelty, and even to physical violence. According to the UN, violence against women currently affects 1 in 3 women worldwide. And most terrible of all is that some of that takes place in the bedroom. The bedroom is where we make ourselves ultimately vulnerable, where we're most intimate with each other.
The bedroom should be the place where a woman knows that here she is safe and loved. Here she'll be treated kindly and tenderly. Here she'll be cherished by a man who knows her like no other. Being kind might mean we need to increase gentle touching, being affectionate, holding hands, putting an arm around our partner's shoulder, giving a hug or brushing each other as we pass. If a man only touches his wife when he wants sex, he sends a terrible signal. His wife will feel used rather than loved, and this can lead to no physical contact at all as his wife backs off, in case it's interpreted by her husband as an encouragement for sex.
Finally, for both men and women, being kind with our words has a huge impact on our lovemaking. There's a very strong link between building each other's self-esteem and building an intimate sexual relationship.
We need to make it a rule never to criticize our husband or wife's natural shape, nor to compare their body to the images of apparent perfection we see on magazine covers, in advertisements and on many social media feeds, which in reality are impossible to achieve, even for the models themselves.
Instead, we mustn't stop telling our partner what we love about their body, because good sex requires self-confidence. Our kind words will build confidence in our partner.
At the same time, we need to take care of our own bodies for each other's sake. Most people, when they're engaged, go to great lengths to keep fit and healthy and look good, especially for their wedding. But then, sadly, once married, some people stop making an effort.
As far as our health allows, making the effort to stay fit and to be attractive to our partner within marriage is a way of being kind and will build our intimacy.